will the virtuous saga out of compassion for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thình, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, thịnh chiến diệu pháp lưu giáo đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạt la, tất chứng vô sanh. How is the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one? Nam mô Saranto Suchero Ye Alahadi Samyao Sanputos Ye. Nam mô Tathagata Yadaya Alahadi Tamidamo Datoa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma, 100,000 million aeons, is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang 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 wei miao fa bai qie wan jie nan zao yu wo jin jie wen de shou chi yuan jie ru lai zhen shi yi. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Six Patriarch, Venerable YongHua, Venerable love-form people, and all good new advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、六祖、师父、上人、各位出家人、各位善知识、阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, Nguyên Thưa Lục Tổ, Thượng Như Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Okay, today is the the 5th of December already? The 6th. Thank you. Okay, let me see if I can get out of this mode here. Where's my cursor? Right here. Exit. Okay. 6th Patriarch Sutra. Okay, hello everyone. We're coming from Rosemead, California. Thank you for tuning in. This is our continuing lectures as a 6th Patriarch Sutra, even during the Chanchi, the next 9 weeks. We apologize for the inconvenience that this change of schedule might cause you. Typically, we do lecture on Sunday afternoon and Saturday afternoons, but for during the next 9 weeks, we'll be lecturing, doing sutra lectures in the evenings. Okay, so this is the first of the next 9 sutra lectures on the 6th Patriarch Sutra. All right. Let's see. We have nothing outstanding, right? So let's delve right into it. We're currently continuing with chapter 8. We're towards the end of chapter 8. And a couple more chapters to go, then we'll be done. and then we switch to another sutra. We are on slide number 21, sutra text. That night, Xíng Chāng entered his room intending to kill him. The master just stretched out his neck. Xíng Chāng swung the blade 3 times, but could not harm him.
时夜幕，行昌入祖室，拔剑加害，祖疏谨救之。行昌挥刃者山，悉无所损。
121. So, Xíng Chāng, the assassin, with Kung Fu, he waited until midnight when everyone went to bed and was resting. So he came into the master Huineng's room, intending to kill him as per the contract that he was hired to do. So the master was expecting him. So instead of cowering, he stuck his neck out to make it easier for this guy to cut the neck instead of cutting something else. So not only was the Master Huineng not afraid to be cut, to be killed, but like most people, if you are under attack and are being assassinated, I'm sure that most people would do something to either cower or take evasive actions or things to defend themselves. In contrast, Master Huineng stuck his neck out to facilitate the assassination attempt. Okay, so this is action of a very unusual person. And Xíng Chāng, the assassin, swung the blade, he says, 3 times at the neck, but he couldn't cut the neck of Master Huineng. Now, it's kind of interesting to me because Xíng Chāng is a professional Kung Fu person. So for him to swing the blade 3 times at the neck, if I were him, I would swing maybe twice. 3rd time I would swing at something else. But then I'm not Chinese, so it's understandable, I guess, from a Chinese perspective. Okay, so it shows that this guy is very, very fixated on cutting the head. Okay. 123 Sutra text. The master said, "A straight word is not bent. A bent sword is not straight. I merely owe you gold. I do not owe you life."
诗曰：正见不邪，邪见不正，只负汝金，不负汝命。
So the master calmly said, it's not clear whether, because Xíng Chāng was a very strong man, has Kung Fu, so when he swung the blade, I'm sure has a lot of force, and it hit Master Huineng's neck. Not clear. I'm asking you, those of you who have Kung Fu, you think that Master Huineng's neck would move a little bit, or what happens? Anyway, not clear what happens. But I wouldn't be surprised if you were to do a movie, and then you would probably would be sensible to film the blade being bounced off the neck of Master Huineng, and Master Huineng would not even move. Okay, so after that, after 3 attempts, he stood there. He sat there, not moving, not ducking, not doing anything. Let him swing the blade at him. Okay, 3 times, and incredibly, he came to no harm. And so he calmly said, "A straight sword is not bent. Okay, so and this is referring to the straight sword of the proper Dharma. Okay, and the bent sword is not straight. And the bent sword here refers to deviant Dharma. The proper Dharma is what Master Hui Neng personifies. Okay, and bent sword is the deviant Dharma that Xíng Chāng is a representative, is an agent of the deviant Buddha Dharma, the deviant the improper Dharma from the other monks and the other jealous masters. That the sword, that sword that they use for their purposes is bent, is crooked. Okay, so that's what he made a statement. What we use in Mahayana is a straight word to do our work. What you, deviant Dharma people use are crooked swords. Okay, and I merely owe you gold, meaning I borrowed from you from past lives, and it has been accruing interest. So now it's worth gold. Okay. However, I do not owe you life, meaning in the past I borrowed money from you, money equivalent from you. But I didn't kill you, I didn't harm you, therefore you cannot harm me, you cannot kill me. Questions or comments? I don't know what the Chinese and the other people, the Vietnamese, have to say. Yes, Pink.
Master, when it says the straight sword is not bent, is that trying to also say that because his Dharma is proper, that he can't be harmed or tainted, and the bent sword is obviously not.
Yeah, the straight word is that it points to the fact that you are straightforward. You're not beating around the bush. You don't need to beat around the bush. Okay, I remember seeing things like the commandos. They use these guns where you actually can shoot around the wall. Anyone knows that? So they have this gun here. To me, it's fascinating. You know, these commandos, they go and they attack people, and they're small numbers. So when they're in attack, you know, they're surrounded. So they have to hide behind these walls, these pillars, for example. And what they do is they have this gun here. They actually can stand behind that pillar there, and the gun sticks out and has a 90 degrees, so they can shoot at people from behind the pillar. So that's what these people do to protect themselves. Okay, but as far as the Mahayana is concerned, we are straightforward. We don't need to use bent swords. Okay. And the sword we use, the weapon we use, everything we use is straightforward. Nothing crooked about them. Okay, and therefore the people who have to use crooked swords, okay, or crooked means, are not straightforward. They're not because they feel the need to use not straightforward means. Whereas when you are strong, when you are proper, when you have nothing to hide, when you have nothing to gain, there's no need for you to do anything, but be straightforward, straight like an arrow. That's what the meaning is behind this. Okay? The Chinese is very, very subtle. They, if you leave it like this, I'm glad you asked. Leave it like this. Even the Chinese nowadays don't get it anymore. But this, to me, is what it means. Okay, I, as a representative of Mahayana, straightforward. I don't need to beat around the bush. There's no need for that. I don't need to use crooked means. Okay, like slandering others, like underhanded means to harm others. Okay? Where those people who have to use those underhanded, crooked means, they are not the proper Dharma. No matter where they came from, no matter who they claim to be, there's no need to use those means. It shows who you are right away, who they are right away. Okay? And if you're people in the know, like Master Huineng, or the people with wisdom, they can recognize it right away. It's a crooked sword that's being used. Okay? So the people who swing those crooked swords are not straight. That's what it means. Any other questions? All right. Next, 125, Sutra text. Xíng Chāng fell to the ground in fright. After a while, he came to and begged for mercy, repenting of his error and vowing to leave home.
行昌惊扑，久而方苏，求哀悔过，既愿出家。
126. He fell to the ground in fright. Okay, and after he came to beg for mercy, so he passed out. So here we have there's some commentary from Master YongHua. He says, Master YongHua said, Master Huineng talked with him for a long time and asked him, why did you want to kill me? And Xíng Chāng confessed. He said, it wasn't my idea. They told me that you're a scoundrel, a thief, and a hunter. Okay? And they said you were a firewood gatherer who was pretending to be a patriarch. I felt it was my duty to kill you, but now I know that I was wrong. Why? If you had no virtue, my sharp sword would have sliced your head right off. Okay, so next commentary, slide 127. Master YongHua continued, having met you, Xíng Chāng says, I realize that the affairs of the world are of no great interest. Please let me leave the home life and bow to you as my teacher. And let's see, are we done here? Okay, so at this point in time here, Xíng Chāng had an awakening. He realized that it never happened before, that he wouldn't be able to create a scratch on this monk's neck. So he's frightened. Is this some, it's extraordinary that he never experienced that before. So he passed out. I don't quite understand how the Chinese would pass out. Okay, I've never seen that in the movies yet in the West, so I don't know. It's a Chinese thing, I guess. Huh? Chinese people, please help us out. For us, I watch more Western movies than Chinese movies, so I just for us, it's inconceivable after you try to kill someone and you pass out. As a professional assassin, it doesn't quite rhyme with us Westerners. So please, Asian people, help us out. Why would this guy pass out in your culture? I really don't understand that. Huh? Seriously, I really don't understand. Why would this Chinese guy pass out? Because after he failed. You know, in the movies, after you swing the blade and then you drop the blade and you kick him, or you grab something else close by and you slam it on him, or pick him up and throw him over the head, and, you know, judo move, whatever. You know, that's what we Westerners do. We don't give up after 3 swings, right? So I don't understand this Chinese mindset. And he passed out even. Yes.
Master, as far as I know, in martial art, when you strike someone, if your power is less than your opponent, then when you strike, the power will bounce back. The opponent's power will strike back at you. So that's probably what happened. So that's why he fell down.
We have a martial artist who says, when you strike someone, force equals reaction. You strike so hard, the force that you get back will strike back at you. My friend, I'm no martial artist. And please, martial artists, please have pity on me. Here's how I understand it. If you swing the arm, absolutely, the force will swing back at you, but it's your arm that takes the brunt of the reaction, not your head. Why would you pass out? That's my problem. Okay? Black.
The energy that comes back, it strikes through your arm and goes up to the head and to the ground. If the person is not grounded correctly, and the energy doesn't go to ground, it bounces back up to the head.
No, it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. You clearly are not a Gao Shou. It doesn't. Xíng Chāng is a Gao Shou. He's a master. Okay, so it's not going to happen. You know, when he hits. Okay, as far as I know, the technique is not, doesn't go to your head. The technique is from your hip. Okay, so if all that happens to you, the vibrations back is in the arm, the hip that absorb it. It doesn't go to your head. Yeah?
I'm not at this level, but my master is able to use the technique where when he make a strike, and he can think of his mind, and he can move the energy to certain part of the organ to damage the organ internally.
Yes, that's possible. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's maybe possible that that the opponent meant for the force when it bounced back to go to the person's head to knock him out.
But then that would require aggression from the 6th patriarch, which is not possible.
Maybe he want to teach him a lesson?
No, not this monkey. I assure you, the Chan masters would never do that. Okay.
Then he got short-circuited because the power that came back is too powerful.
No, it's not from Master Huineng. It's not. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, okay, we have another Asian person who will try to elucidate, clarify for us, yes.
Mô Phật và Thầy, tại vì lục tổ Huệ Năng là con người đi chánh pháp, mà cái người này đó lấy cái gươm đó là chém cái đầu ba cái mà không đứt đó, thì lục tổ Huệ Năng nhìn lại cái người kia thì ngất xỉu. Dễ dàng như vậy.
It's more likely. Translation.
Mô Phật bà thầy, giống bây giờ mình đi gặp sư phụ vậy đó, mình nhìn một cái là mình có thể mình không thể tưởng tượng được. Giống cái người này nè, nó muốn chém lục tổ đi, thầy ổng cái công phu cũng dữ lắm thấy không? Tự nhiên chém rồi ông đứng cho đó rồi ông kia ông thấy ông ngất xỉu là cái đó. Chuyện đó là bây giờ giống người ta thấy thầy như vậy đó, người ta nhìn thầy một cái người ta cũng phải lui rồi không dám tới. Nó cái trường hợp như vậy đó thầy.
Translation.
Master, I think because Liu Zu, the sixth patriarch, is represent for the proper Dharma. So this sword cannot harm him. And then this guy, he looked at sixth patriarch and he was so scared. And that's why he passed out. Same thing with Shifu. Sometimes we look at him and we're so scared, and then, or we look at you, we don't dare to approach you, but run away.
Never happened before, but I wish it were the case. Here's what happened. If you ask me, would be my interpretation, because the Westerners would not understand this. Okay, we have to explain it in a way to them in a way that they can relate to. Okay. Here's what happens. Imagine yourself, Xíng Chāng, okay, who's there to do something illegal, something nasty. So he doesn't want to be discovered. So he's nervous already. Okay? Even you're a professional assassin, you know you can be caught. You can, anything bad could happen to you. Okay? So he's nervous. So far, so good. Okay, he's nervous walking in there, and of course, yes, there is very menacing energy. Okay, let me explain to you. You Westerners would not be able to understand it. Okay, but this is a Chinese temple, so bear with us. This is since the Chinese refuse to participate, I will speak on their behalf. This is a Chinese temple. This is a highly revered monk. Okay? And you know what happened? He's surrounded by all these invisible Dharma protectors who says, "Boy, be sure that you know what you're doing." You Buddhist people, you understand what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. You, for example, nowadays, you go near Mr. President. It's always all these blue jacket people standing around him, right? You cannot get close to him, right? And as soon as you get close, you take out something to grab your arm right away. At least that's what happens in the movies. Okay? So you see, if the presidents and the kings are surrounded by these guards, royal guards, yes? Do you think the sixth patriarch can be there by himself without guards? That's not possible. The sixth patriarch is always surrounded by spiritual protectors, Dharma protectors. If you practice in a temple, and if you keep precepts, and if you cultivate, you receive protection. From everyone, from everything. Is that clear? So these protectors are very upset. They said, "How dare you come here and harm my president or my Dharma master?" Excuse me. You got that? These people are very upset. How dare you? So far, so good. So this guy walked in there. Before he walks into that room, all the Dharma protectors outside the room are saying, look at this guy. They are upset at him already. You see that? When you walk in the room, even those protectors are even higher level kung fu, even more menacing. They said, how dare you? How dare these people out there? Let them come in. See that? So he's there. He's scared already. He can't see them, of course. He's scared already, right? So far, so good. This is the first time I explain this to you because the Chinese refuse to explain to us. Okay? We need to interpret this for us Westerners, otherwise they're going to see that we are so stupid. We believe everything the Chinese throw at us. Okay? So he gets closer and the Dharma protectors are even more upset, more menacing. So far, so good? And then what happened? This guy is scared already. He's not, you're right. I mean, the energy is not from sixth patriarch. You got the right idea. It's from those Dharma protectors who are upset at him. Okay? So now he swung his blade. And guess what happens? He's afraid, and then he swung at someone who sits there, and all of a sudden the guy moves like this. How would you feel? I ask you. Huh? I'd be terrified out of my wits. I pass out after the first swing, not the 3 swings. This guy is something else. If I swing at 6 patriarch, sitting there, and it's like a ghost. And you see that? And then he swings it and it bounces right back. And then he swings another one, it bounces right back. Third swing, it bounces right back. The guy passed out because he's so terrified. You buy that? This is why you don't see this in Western movies. It takes too long to explain to you. He passed out because he's terrified. Okay? He's so frightened. It's a ghostly scenery, you will. The guy sitting here, very adorned, and you come there, you get near and say, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. Okay? It's going to be a piece of cake. And all of a sudden, as you swing, he sticks his neck out. Not before. This, please pay attention, you movie people. Okay? In this movie, do not make the 6th patriarch neck move before he swung the blade. He has to swing the blade, and then Master Hui. Okay? So you see, this is it's ghostly. And then it bounces right back. It's terrifying. You buy that? Chinese people are not impressed. We don't care. You see that? Okay. So that's why he passed out. He's terrified. He passed out because he was afraid. Okay? So he came back, came to, and then he decided to lead the home life. Why? Again, it has to make sense to Westerners. Otherwise, they say, you Chinese are too weird. We would never leave the home life. You wake up and us and so you want to leave the home life. You got to be kidding us. Huh? It's because he had an epiphany. He says, God, after, because you haven't been there, and if you experience this kind of fright, this kind of fear that will make you pass out, okay? That gives you a certain kind of epiphany, a certain kind of awakening in your head. It clears it. The chi goes up and clears your head and says, I'm so wrong. All my entire life, what I've been doing is nonsense. okay? I thought I'm the best at my being an assassin, okay? I should probably become a basketball player or something. Someone complains, I don't talk to him about girls. Basketball, how's that? You're tall enough. You should consider a career in that. Not football. Football, they crush your bones. And you do football, let me tell you. You want to do football, my boy, you have to do Chan. You do Chan, they cannot crush your bones. You crush their bones, they can't crush your bones. You do Chan. Anyway, so that's why he has this epiphany, because he was at his breaking point, okay? Mentally, it was his breaking point. That's when you have an epiphany, okay? And this environment of Master Huineng temple is very conducive to that kind of epiphany, where you were to do it at home or in movie theater, it's not going to happen, let me tell you. But in a temple environment, when this could happen to you. So far, so good. So this is very possible, at least to me personally. Okay, and he says, listen, I thought I'm at my best. I thought that my life has meaning and everything, but it turns out that I'm witnessing this incredible thing here in front of my eyes here, and it happened to me, and so it made my entire life really become so small, so insignificant. So he said, and in front of me, this person who gave up the worldly life, I want to be like him. I want to go this path because that will be challenging to me. Again, going back to martial artists. They do martial arts because it's a challenge. Yes? It's a big part of learning martial arts. It's challenging. Okay? Not only the skill set, but also challenging to be able to defeat someone because you could get hurt and not have another chance ever again. So the martial artists are after challenges. Yes? So he saw this incredible monk who's totally collected, okay, calm, collected, have no fear at all, and indestructible. He said, this is the coolest thing I've ever witnessed in my entire life. I ever experienced my entire life. So he says, this is what I want. There you go. An example of someone of Master Huineng's caliber who's able to convert people without trying to convert them. That's very Buddhism. We don't try to convert people. They convert themselves because they like what they see. They admire what they can understand. We don't need to convert them at all. They make the choices. What do you want? Okay? So, there's also another aspect of this story I'd like to share with you. And this is what the Chinese don't explain to us. Okay. Another aspect of this story is that something called Karmic Retribution. Karmic Retribution is whatever comes back at you because of some past causes, some past karma you created. So here, Master Huineng says, I owe you money, and I have to pay you interest. It's called karmic retribution. Yes? You owe people, then money, then down the road, you have to pay it back plus interest. All right? So the interesting thing here is more than just the money, but the fact that Master Huineng says that I don't owe you my life, therefore you can't kill me. And he chose to manifest that way to Xíng Chāng. He could have, in a movie, you would have leave, here's some gold for you, Mr. Xíng Chāng, thank you for coming. I'm busy, I'm a sixth patriarch, I'm busy. Here's your money and the gold I owe you, okay? Please take it and leave. Okay, I don't owe you my life, and so forth, right? You can do that. He could have done that. No, he chose to demonstrate that when I don't owe you, I have control over what I want to do. Okay? You cannot harm me. I could have avoided you. I could have done other things. Tonight, I chose to stick my neck out for you to see if you can cut it. And if I don't owe you, there's no way you can cut me. You think the Master Huineng says, oh, I'm going to have the Tie Bi, right? The Chinese. Hey, you martial artists, you know what that is? Thiết Bi in Vietnamese. Tie Bi. It's a form of kung fu where you turn your skin into steel where you cannot cut it. Very, very Shaolin kind of thing. The martial artists are jumping up and down. Saying, how come you guys know so much about it? I just read a lot of stuff and watched a lot of kung fu movies. That's why. Black. Yeah.
Master, one of my teacher taught me that in order to turn your skin into steel, they actually have they make herbs and they rub it, and then every day they beat the skin and they train the skin in along with the herbs to make the skin tough like steel. And it originated from horses. They try to help back in the old day. They try to help the horse because they don't have those hoof on the horse, so they originally made it for the horse. And eventually it went into the martial art world.
So martial artist. That's cool, isn't it? Now you know their secret. They use alcohol, they use these herbs things, and they put it on their skins, everywhere, and the hands in particular, the chest and so forth. That's what you want to impress people. Say, hey, go ahead. Cut me, okay? But what you do is you don't cut there, you cut in the throat. Okay, that's what I do. I say, you pretend you go cut there and you cut in the ears, and the ear cut falls off. Because they forgot to put the stuff here. No! Not Mahayana enough. Hey, Koreans, you Taekwondo people, you have any such a thing? Steel skin? The Koreans are so boring. They don't, this. You do only Taekwondo, you don't do Tie Bi. Okay, GF has a question.
Master, by the way, I recently showed a Shaolin movie to Thai, and then he saw the same thing, like they sticking their neck out and being cut with no problem. Anyway, that's not the question. The question is, so as you just taught us that those of us who practice the right way, we have Dharma protectors, and then also there's the karmic retribution aspects about if we're going to get into trouble. So why we still need to be careful? Like for example, you told us that when we drive, we should reciting the medicine master's names to protect us ourselves from accidents and so on. That's my question.
Okay. Let me finish my point first before I forget. May I? Because someone challenged me and said, we martial artist people have these concoctions where we toughen our skins, okay? And it takes years to do that, many years to do that. But think about it, Master Huineng never practiced it. How did he do that? Okay, so that's in Buddhism it's called spiritual penetration. Okay, more than just the 6 spiritual penetrations that the Chinese Master Xing keep talking about. This is another form of spiritual penetration that way beyond that. Okay, so basically, at Master Huineng's level, it's incredible. He's that's why it adds to the fright of Xíng Chāng, who said, "My God, my knife is very sharp. It's made of great quality steel, okay, and it cannot even harm this guy who does not even practice Tie Bi in the martial arts, okay." So there are many ways to deal with it, but Master Huineng chose to let him cut his neck. Okay, so it's kind of cool at Master Huineng's level. Okay, now let me finish my point, and I might also address the question from Go Forest. So you see, you have this karmic retribution that if the opposite is also true. Assuming, for example, that Master Huineng didn't see it in a prior life, he killed Xíng Chāng. Guess what would happen? Xíng Chāng blade would cut through his neck. Even if Master Huineng has his way, say, I know how to, I have the kung fu. Don't need to use the Tie Bi skin, too slow for us, okay? For the Chan Master. Chan Master has much more effective way, much more powerful way, okay? That took even longer than Tie Bi, but it's a lot more versatile, okay? Let me put it that way for you. So he says, I can use this to protect myself. Yes? He's perfectly capable of doing that, okay? My teacher is also able to do that, okay? We were not trained for that. So anyway, so please don't come and take a knife and stick it against my neck. You go to jail. Okay, so, and I can't finish the 6th Patriarch Sutra anymore. Okay, so anyway, so even if Master Huineng used his ability, his skills, even his Tie Bi, and if he owes Xíng Chāng his life in the past, guess what would happen? Xíng Chāng and I will cut right through his neck. When you owe someone your life, okay, they can harm you. It's called Karmic Retribution. And when that comes, okay, it's not much you can do. You can be the richest person in the world. You can be the president of the United States, but still they can get through and shoot you. All right? So it's like happened to Ronald Reagan. Hinckley, whatever, managed to infiltrate the Secret Service people and shot who is it? Reagan? Huh? Reagan, right? President Reagan, okay? Because he owes that guy. So far, so good? So when your karmic retribution comes, you cannot depend on your husband. You cannot depend on your secret service. You cannot depend on your money. You cannot depend on anything. You owe them, they come and get you. And you have to pay. So far, so good. Okay? So you know that when you owe someone, you can run all you want, but eventually you have to pay. So that's why our attitude is that when we know we owe someone, we pay. We don't try to run away. Make sense? Right? If we know you owe someone money, I assure you I won't try to run away. I will pay, because if not, in the future of lifetimes, I end up paying a lot more because it accrues interest until it's repaid. So far, so good. So that's why we don't steal. Buddhism is very practical. We don't steal, we don't con people, because we have to pay it back anyway. What's the point? Only stupid people will try to con you. Stupid people will try to steal you, to steal from you. Okay? So far, so good? So that's why in Buddhism we don't steal, we don't harm people, because we know there's a retribution coming back to us eventually with interest. Okay? Now, knowing that, then you can go a step further by learning part of cultivation. If we know that because of our transmigration in a real reincarnation, we owe a lot of people. Yes? We owe people money because in a prior life we stole from them. Yes? The Buddha owed Devadatta many lives, because in the cycle of his revolution, okay, the Buddha, before he became a Buddha, he killed Devadatta a few times. So far, so good? So when the Buddha became a Buddha and Devadatta became Devadatta, okay, and Devadatta's the only purpose in life, Devadatta is, I'm going to kill the Buddha because I want to become a Buddha. That's what he's thinking, his rationale. But actually, it's the driving force behind that is because the Buddha owes Devadatta lives. Okay? So naturally, Devadatta wants to hurt him. Okay? And he succeeded. He made the Buddha bleed. So far, so good? So in Buddhism, it doesn't matter, you can be rich all you want, but then they come to you, they kill you, they put you in coma for 10 days, 15 days, and you die, and they will pull you down to the hells. What are you going to do? So the difference between us Buddhists is that we know we owe people, like it or not. Buddha even owes Devadatta, right? So part of our cultivation, we know that as you meditate during this Chanchi here, any of you who gets to meditate in this empty hall here, you know you're going to have obstructions. In everything you do, you're going to have obstructions. And you learn how to deal with those obstructions. That's what cultivation is about. That's what wisdom is about. You stop doing stupid things. Okay? Because it can come back at you with interest. There's no way to avoid it. Now, so when you drive on the freeway, and amazingly, with this lockdown here, I noticed people are still driving like the traffic is like at least 60% of normal traffic. Yes? when you're driving the freeway, you know that, you know that maybe one of your karmic debts will come. Okay? And now you have this tool here because we invested so much in you. Teaching you chant, teaching you recite the Buddha's name, teaching you to bow, teaching you by incense praise, getting a visa for you. It's a lot of investments for us. So we have to teach you how to evade it, how to delay it, because you don't want to pay back yet. That's why you recite Yao Shi Ru Lai, so that you postpone it a little bit. Does it make sense? Go for us? That's why part of cultivation is you realize that, yeah, Master really likes you. Master really have high regards for you. But when your karmic retribution comes, you have to resolve it yourself. Cannot expect Master to stick his neck out for you. He has a 6 Patriarch Sutra to finish lecturing on. Okay? So, that process of cultivation, okay, you learn, you acquire the skills to do TAB, or the skills to protect yourself and to resolve these karmic retributions, okay? Because ultimately, you are the ones who have to face it. You cannot expect anyone to face it for you, to help you. It's just life. Okay, time is up. Does it help? Does it answer the Go Forest question? Yes, Green.
Master, you mentioned spiritual penetration. Will you elaborate so that I can gain that understanding? What exactly it is?
Those are the special skills you're able to do. That when you follow your spiritual practice, these things will naturally happen. For example, when you continue meditating, to most people, they begin to see things they don't otherwise see. They can see through the walls. They can see up in the heavens. They can see invisible beings to us. Ask around. People are telling me, I see ghosts around Master, or, all the time. I said, I probably owe them. That's why they hang around here. Because if I don't owe them, I'm scared of ghosts. Okay? All right? So those are special abilities. As you learn more, you find out when there are different kinds of abilities, like spiritual eyes, like what else? Spiritual ears. You can hear things. That normal people cannot hear, and those are real. Those are real to people, especially around the temple. Just ask around. They see all kinds of strange things. Oh, yeah, it's scary. I said, don't tell me about it. I just rather not know. Okay? Because if I tell you, then even Joseph said, oh, really? Master's temple is that scary? So is your house, boy. That's why we don't want to know. I said, don't tell me. I was at the other temple, the other Lu Mountain temple, and I was lecturing. I was so happy lecturing, as my happy self, if you will. And then someone said, Master, I saw someone walking out of the rebirth things. I said, really? They're not supposed to walk out while I'm lecturing. Scare we. Yes, go for it.
Master, thank you for the explanation with June's question. I have another question relating to, let's say that we have family member, in my family, we have family member that doesn't fully believe in Buddhist, and we know that it's really good for them to believe in it. How, what advice would you give us to help them have more faith?
Okay, good question. How can we help them? Number one, don't try to help them. Let them be. The world is full of people who don't believe, and we're perfectly happy all together. Big happy family, believers and non-believers. Okay? So please stop trying to help them. More importantly, accept them as they are. If they say, I don't believe in Buddhism, I believe in God, so be it. Praise the Lord. Let me pray to God with you. Okay? We have no problem with that. Whatever makes people happy, that's what we do. Oh, finally, thank you. Tonight I'm going to die of thirst, talking for 2 hours and no tea. But you know what? Master is cool, never complains. Okay? Stop trying to convert them. Accept them as who they are. That's much more Buddhist. If they want to follow Judaism or Mormonism, encourage them. Our Buddhism is to try to help people get what they want, ultimately. Whether it's whatever they want to do, we try to help them get it. Okay? That's Buddhism. So far, so good. Number two, okay? So you first have to look at yourself. Stop trying so hard to convince them that we're better. We're not. Trust me. If you really know what I look like when I get up in the morning, you say, oh my God, you look like that? Ugh. That's why it takes me quite a while before I come here and lecture. Okay, just hang on. Let me finish my point here. So please don't don't try so hard. We're not that cool. Trust me. We're just struggling like everyone else. Okay, let's be real. I'd rather be in Bahamas. You ask me. Well, I have to be here. What can I say? I'm so unhappy. So accept them who they are, whether they're happy or unhappy, embrace them. That's very Mahayana, okay? That's what life is about. We embrace people accepting who they are, okay? Including those who try to harm us. Not a problem, okay? Be yourself, okay? But don't try them too much to try to harm you, okay? Anyway, that's number one. Number two is that there's a belief, I personally believe, that people know what's best for them. Once they know what's best for them, they do what's best for them. All right? So if you want them to improve their lot, okay, here's the trick, okay? You give them blessings. Those people who have blessings will do what's best for them. All right? So the people who keep on harming themselves is only because they don't have enough blessings. That's why they keep on harming themselves. Okay? Case in point, for example, if you have children, what's very scary nowadays is that drug dealers are everywhere. Okay? They go into our schools. They go into our small villages, smaller towns, okay, and sell them. It's everywhere, okay? Especially in our schools. Our children are exposed to it. What are you going to do? Of course, you have to try to keep an eye on them in order for all those things. But I tell you one thing that will help definitely is that give them blessings so that the real blessings will protect themselves. They cannot hurt themselves. Okay? because personally, okay, I'm frightened of drugs for some reason. I don't quite understand it. My family members, they're into marijuana, they're into cocaine, you know, you name it, they tried it. And so I'm in that environment where, you know, it's very easy for me to get those things when I was younger. Not anymore, for the record. Right, Xíng Chāng? I tried to get some syringe and needles, and people said, "What do you get them for?" I said, "It's for my work." "What kind of work do you do?" "Oh, I'm a monk." "Can't have them." So the point being that if you have the blessings, and I felt I probably is the case, because back then I was younger, I had plenty of chances. My girlfriend was smoking, she gave me marijuana for the first time. I had one whiff, and I was giggling for the next hour. And he says, get off my legs. He says, "Stay where you are." I said, "No." I was so happy. And I swear to you, it's the only time I inhale Joseph. Okay? For some reason, I was always frightened by drugs. I would not try those things. There's so many of my friends and my family friends, they try all those things. Even my brother is into cocaine. He uses it. And to the point where the cocaine boss came back with him to the house and looked at me and said, "Hey, see how cool I am?" He showed up to me. He said, "You're a monk. You meditating, you master Shema disciples and all those things, and you practicing all these things. Look at what kind of spiritual powers I have." He's showing off at me. Okay? And I laughed. I said, "You think you're cool, huh? You think you're cool?" I neutralized all his manifestation immediately. So ever since, he never dare come to my house anymore. Okay? So anyway, so they are designed. They have all these skills, all these tricks to use to entrap you, to entice you. How cool it is! You know, they're invincible. One day, this guy who used cocaine, I said, "There's nothing I can't do." So anyway, so many of those stories. Well, anyway, and I take it as my blessings, because I interpreted that as my blessings, because to be involved in drugs would be very messy, it has toxins inside your body that you need to undo. It's not just temporary thing. It's inside of your DNA, your bone marrow, and you pass it on to your children. How scary it is. My father used opium. I hope it was before that I was born. And you do that. It's in your blood, and you pass it on to your children. That's why these people are very easy to become addicted to opium. Okay? So going back to the question, go first. I said, give them blessings. Okay? So if with blessings, they're not as prone to harming themselves. Okay? And then finally, you want to help them, you become a better person. Because look, Xíng Chāng. Xíng Chāng is very confident, very competent evil man, assassin. But he looked at how cool Venerable Hui Neng was and said, all I have, all I know is nothing compared to what this guy can do. I went after the wrong challenges in my life. I wasted my life. Now, I changed directions. Thank you, Guo, for such a good question. Okay, YouTube has a question, has been very patiently waiting. Yes, go ahead, YouTube.
Yeah, we have a question from Tian Guo. They ask,
Hello,
Master,
Tian Guo.
Is Devadatta still in hell now, or is a Bodhisattva already? I think Master Xinhua mentioned that Devadatta was not necessarily a bad guy.
Devadatta, I wish him well. What do I know? Why do you want to know? Who cares? Worry about yourself, Tian Guo. Stop looking at Devadatta. You want to look at, go see a movie. It's much, much, much better. Okay? Much more entertaining. Yeah. And if you really want to press it, I will give you the answer. I don't know. Okay? Stop looking at other people. It's not that important. Yes, black, blue.
Pastor, in Buddhism, do we believe in God, or is it completely different than what when most people believe in God?
You asking me? I believe in God. I cannot speak for Buddhism. I believe in God. This is God sent. There's no way I could afford this. There's no way unless God has His hands in here. There's no reason in the world why we have this church. Totally nonsense. There's no way to explain this except that I believe that God has a hand in it. It says, you should get this church and speak Dharma so that I'm more comfortable when I come and listen to it. It turns out my master, Master Xinhua, says God likes listening to the Dharma, Buddha Dharma. He likes the lectures a lot. So when my late father, was living in his heaven, the same heaven as God, the Christian God, very happy, very happy. He would often come to the other temple, the small temple, Blue Mountain Temple, to listen to the lectures. So they have a good time. So I believe in having a good time. Yes, absolutely. There's such a thing as gods. That's what I believe, and that's what also the Buddhists are taught as well. It's part of the cosmos. Every single world has a Christian God, okay, whose job is to gather in the Christians equivalent in each world. Okay, so they have their roles, okay, and they preparing to teach them about goodness, which is a good thing, and then eventually those with higher level blessings will graduate to learn higher levels of goodness, if you will. Okay, goodness has gradations. So we all in we're after the same thing. God and us, we want to teach goodness. We want to share the good things and keep the evil people in check. That's what we do. So we share common goals. We're not antagonistic at all. We are actually collaborating, and that's why in our world the gods come quite often to listen to the Dharma and to improve themselves and to accrue more heavenly blessings. Quite common. Okay? YouTube has a question.
This question is from Alta-D. He asks, do people have different spiritual penetrations, as in different people have talents in different areas?
Yes. They all have different special abilities. Some people are better at hearing, like musicians. Beethoven, you know, he may be deaf, but he can hear heavenly music. So he cannot hear the sound, but he can hear the vibrations. And on top of it, I believe he has the heavenly ear, so he can hear himself music. Okay, same thing. So each person has different affinities because of various reasons. But ultimately, there are all kinds of different spiritual powers that you will develop naturally, eventually. Okay, there's no need to reject them. Okay, just listen to it, and eventually you yourself will find out that you occasionally are able to do those things. Okay, it's not uncommon for people who practice Chan meditation to see things. Okay, see things that are not the invisible, you will, different wavelengths. It's quite commonplace. Okay, it's nothing wild and crazy about it. It's very commonplace. Yes, Pink.
Giống con người ta có thần thông đó, người ta xài hoài nó có hết không thầy?
So yes, if you keep on using spiritual penetrations, spiritual penetrations are manifestations of your blessings. So yes, if you keep on using them, you're using up your blessings. I keep on telling you, people in Pure Land, they said, how do you know? How do you see those things? Can you see those things? I said, oh, you want to see those things? You want proof? Wow. And they say, yeah, of course, I want proof. You want to see those things, okay? You want to see so far away. You need to send a Voyager or a satellite that travels 3 billion of miles. It's not even the end of the galaxy yet, okay? And at a cost how much? At the length of 6 million years. 6 years to travel 3 billion of miles, go to somewhere. I saw this report recently, to pick up some dirt and bring it back. And they spend billions of dollars for that. Okay? Just within this galaxy. 6 years. And now you want to see a galaxy that's 10 billion galaxies away? Can you imagine what the kind of resources you need to do, the infrastructure you need to have in order to be able to take a peek over there? Where does it come from? Your blessings. It's not me. It's from the people who's like Master Hui Neng, who can meditate, and then someone comes and try to kill him, stick his neck out, and then he doesn't get hurt. Those people, the words are coming from those people, not from me. Yes, YouTube.
This question is from ML. They ask, if a scientist can grow a steak artificially, is it okay for Buddhists to eat it?
Go what?
Grow a steak, so artificial meat.
From animal cells or from totally vegetarian?
I would assume it's animal cells because this was a recent development that I read in the news.
Yes, I'm aware of that. As long as they're animal cells, it's still animal, so we don't want to eat it. There's plenty of vegetables and stuff like that. And so it's no, if you want to be vegetarian, okay, to be vegetarian implies one very simple thing. What is that thing? Kitchen manager. What is that thing? When you're vegetarian, what happens? You sacrifice flavors. That's why you're vegetarian. If you're vegetarian, you have to sacrifice flavors. Okay? Caviar. Try to impress you. Caviar. Cannot duplicate it. Champagne. Not possible. You're sacrificing that. You will never be able to taste real caviar, beluga whale caviar again. Dom Perignon, 1959. Can't duplicate that. Not possible. At least in our lifetimes. That means that we commit, we know that we're going to lose out on these flavors. Okay? There's no way. Her vegetables can taste the same as lobster. I don't care what she says. You can grow beef all you want in the laboratories from cells, from dead animal cells, okay? But you'll never be able to duplicate Wagyu beef flavor, Wagyu steak. That's not possible yet. So, as long as I'm alive, I know that I'm committed to sacrificing that. I will forego the flavor of Wagyu beef. I know it's not fair. But if you want your neck eventually down, your neck not to be damaged by, here I go, the heat of battle again, I forget. My neck is very fragile. Okay? If you want someday, this is why the Xíng Chāng here is bought into it. He says, if he can do that, it's the coolest thing for martial arts. Yes? That's what I want. That's what he wants. Okay? So I'm sorry. There's no way you can. You try to imitate this. So how do we handle it? Okay, how do we vegetarian people handle it? Yes, we accept we cannot. We forego, caviar and champagne and so forth. But we make up for it. What do? We patiently wait for them to come up with as close a substitute as possible. Then we go buy it. And we say, we're pure vegetarian. We're true to our calling. Live a little, come on, boys and girls, and don't pretend, you don't like it. I like it, I love it. It's just noblesse oblige. I can't pretend to be a monk and say, I eat Wagyu steak once a week. So you commit to making certain sacrifices, right? Okay, that's part of it. That's part of being vegetarian. Yes, YouTube still has a lot of questions.
There's questions from Tian Guo. They ask, is the Christian God listening to your talk at the temple right now, Master?
None of your business. What can I say? If you say no, then she will tune out. She will just stop tuning in. If I say yes, then I'd be lying, wouldn't I? So what can I say? Say yes, it's a problem. No, it's a problem. So my answer is none of your damn business. Stop trying to embarrass me, please. Who cares, Tian Guo? It's none of your business. If the God comes, I can't make money of it. I can't be excited about it. Okay, let's make a deal. Hey, God, if you're here, I tell you what. You can help me, God, if you're here tonight. Give me another bigger church, about 4 times bigger. Okay, let's stop BSing. You know, if it comes here, it means nothing unless I have a 4 times bigger church. Soon. Not after I die. Okay. Okay? Let's be real. Stop fooling around. Okay? This is America. Money. Yes. YouTube.
So this question is from Chris Wolfe. He asks, is it best to be vegan then, or is vegetarian okay?
Oh, God. I can't stand this. I'm vegetarian, but I'm not vegan, please. I don't know how you guys can make it. Live like this. Especially, hey, listen, Mr. Wolfe. It's double meaning. Rosemead, where we are right now, is only 15 minutes from Pasadena. Pasadena is a town where yuppies, in my generation called it yuppie, the young people, the young fashionable people hang out and they have a good time. And you go to Pasadena, to my dismay, you find so many vegan restaurants. I was stupid enough to try the ratings, the Yelp ratings. Okay, and I said, vegan restaurant, 5 stars, and $1 sign, $2 sign, $3 sign. I tried them all, $1 sign, $2 sign, $3 signs. Okay, and to my dismay, doesn't matter how much I pay. They all taste the same as for me to go out to my lawn and eat my grass. And they call it vegan. I find it so incomprehensible that you pay so much money to eat grass. And they call it, I love how it tastes. I said, my kitchen manager's garden's grass tastes better than this. And I'm sorry, you vegan people. I'm anti-vegan. I'm vegetarian, but not vegan. Come on, you vegan people, please learn how to cook vegetarian food properly instead of just putting a bunch of grasses together. I went to Spain for my travel a few years ago. I went to a highly rated vegan restaurant. Guess what? Same thing. They eat grass and all those things they put together and say, "Ooh, this is so tasty." Please. It's disgusting. Okay? I love people, but I do not like vegan. Okay, sorry. I'm very passionate about this because I spend so much money on vegan food, and every time I'm disappointed bitterly. That's why I don't ever dare tell my kitchen manager, I'm going to skip lunch today because I'm going to try this vegan restaurant so that I see if in future I have guests coming from out of town, whether I should recommend this restaurant or not. Because so far, I would not recommend a single vegan restaurant. Very compassionate, very passionate about this. Yes. Are we done? Yes, sir. Black.
Master, the Quảng Đức, the burning monk, did he use spiritual penetration to endure the pain of the flames?
He doesn't need to have any spiritual penetrations for that. He entered something called the 3rd stage Arhat Samadhi, which shields him from any physical pain. Many people here can do that too, but don't burn them. Okay? It's very low level. Oops! Oh, there you go, I just offended the Vietnamese. It's not a big deal in terms of skill set. You know, that samadhi here stops you from any pain sensation, from feeling any pain sensation. That's all. So for us Mahayana people, the samadhi level is not that high to be able to do that. And you don't need any spiritual penetration. You can do it at will. For a person as virtuous as Mr. Quảng Đức there, I mean, you know, he meditates and he every day, so for him to do that, you know, it's very easy. All right? But for example, the way he does it, he can enter that slower than a person higher level. Person high level can enter a lot and enter a lot quicker. So what happened with him is towards the end of his when he was nearly dead, okay, you see he was sitting still, okay, like that the whole time when he was burning. So it's very impressive. The heat and the pain there, if you're alive, I mean, it's very painful, right? I mean, just burn your hand. I just burned my finger here recently. Doing what? I forgot. Oh, tea. Anyway, so it's very painful, okay? And even in the midst of pain there, you can stop the pain immediately, like that, by entering that samadhi, okay? So for him when they started, for example, I wasn't there, so take a grain of salt. What do I care? You know, I open my big mouth and talk about anything as long as I get a bigger church soon. Trying to impress God, how's that? So he was able to still like this the whole time, which is extremely impressive. Okay, but towards the end, when he died, that's when you look at I'm told he died. I'm told that he shuddered. I never had the chance to look at the whole video. Okay, it's scary anyway. So I was told that at the end, towards the end, he shuddered and then he fell forward or backward, something like that. So I explained to them, okay, without seeing the video again. I very naive. I believe everything people tell me. He shuddered because then he exited that samadhi. That's why he shuddered. He felt the pain right there, and that's not good. When you're about to die and you feel the pain, oh boy, you don't want to do that. Big problems. It should have been sit still until he died. But when he shuddered like that, not good. Karmic obstructions. Meaning at that point in time, his karmic retribution came. Scary. You understand? You can say, I'm so cool, you know, for the whole time you're burning, and then last second, they come and get you. Yes, Pink.
Mô Phật và Thầy, Ngài thiêu rồi đó, còn để là một cái trái tim đó là sao ý nghĩa vậy Thầy? Cái đó...
Master, after he died, he left behind the heart, Sharira. What does that mean?
Why do you keep on asking things like this? I don't care. Just give me a church. It doesn't help me get a church. Would you like to really know why? It's because he ate a lot of broccolis. That's one of the advantages of being vegetarian, by the way. You're vegetarian, you meditate much better, and it's easier for you to reach third stage Arhat than you were to eat meat. And then for a virtuous monk like him, okay, he's very virtuous monk. He did a lot of great things for Vietnamese Buddhism. That's why in the end, okay, it manifested all those virtues, all those virtuous deeds he did when he was alive, manifested for his followers, not us, okay? His Vietnamese followers. That's why he is highly revered. It manifested for their sake. It's from his and the blessings of the Vietnamese Buddhists as well. Get this straight, okay? So he is a very virtuous person, and the Vietnamese Buddhists have blessings. That's why in the end, he had this heart sharir that didn't burn, okay, to inspire them to believe more in Buddhism. That's why. It's not just him, it's the Vietnamese Buddhists' blessings. There are a lot of good Vietnamese Buddhists who are virtuous. That's why it was manifested that way. Okay? Not just him alone. It's the Buddhists, Vietnamese Buddhists. Okay? Because similarly, my late Chinese master, when he died, after he died, they cremated his body, and he left behind like thousands of shariras in the bones, in everywhere. Okay, like those great monks. The shariras are crystallizations of your virtuous deeds. So that's why they manifest. Okay, to inspire you to have more faith in goodness. And if you are good enough, then you have the right, you're entitled to be close to those shariras. Otherwise, you cannot. They will not stay with you. You don't deserve. Okay? So that's why. That's why right now I understand that his heart is hidden somewhere. Okay? And it's because the virtuous people over there are not virtuous enough to hang on to that heart. And those are our double-edged swords. You have those relics, like that heart relics, and you hold it. That means that you are virtuous enough. But then, if you are not virtuous, it will go away. Okay? So nothing is forever. On the other hand, if you're not even virtuous, you can't even have them. So I hope we have his heart. Even if it goes away, I can claim I was virtuous enough for a while. Any other nonsense question would you like to know? Go for it. Yes.
Sorry, Master, I'm just piling on the nonsense questions tonight.
Just think church first.
First question is on the topic of Venerable Guangde. Since he was experiencing pain at the last moment of his life, would he get affected in terms of his rebirth or consequences?
Yes.
Or,
Yes, that's why it's there. The pain, like that woman's connection in Texas, the sister, okay? She died in great pain, okay? The people who die in great pains, it's not good, I assure you. Meaning the karmic retribution is much stronger than they can handle. That's a fact. Okay? It's not good. Yes, second question.
But then he's a first stage Arhat, right? Isn't that they can go anywhere?
He's a third stage Arhat, not first.
Oh, okay.
A first stage Arhat cannot enter the third stage Arhat Samadhi. Come on, let's be real.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood.
Yes,
so
you did.
The second question is kind of a question from a few lectures ago when you was talking about spiritual penetration. When you were talking about enlightened being, they would have those. They would have this behavior where they just naturally do the things like avoid danger, like just by not showing up in the Taco Bell. I don't remember the example you were giving. People were.
No, it's probably Del Taco. I prefer Del Taco over Taco.
Oh, okay, Del Taco then. So things like that, or they
Del Taco. I'm open for a commercial relationship.
Right. Yeah, they have the.
It's a step down for them. They say, no, you too clownish. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, they have that fake meat thing. Anyway, is that?
No, it's from one of my disciples. His name begins with a P. He says, when my wife doesn't cook for me, I love it. I immediately go to Del Taco and spend $20 on tacos. Mr. P. Yes, he's a Del Taco boy, you know. $20 is like 5 minutes. Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
So is this type of abilities spiritual penetration, or this is just the wisdom of enlightened being? It's different from the spiritual penetration.
What is?
They just know what to do. Like you said, I think it's 随用, something like they just know what to do.
No, it's not spiritual penetration. It's just a lot of things, but don't necessarily need spiritual penetrations for that. All right.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, you too.
We have a question from Diego Alfonso. He asks, Master, I have a friend who has back pain and he is not able to reach the full lotus position. What position could be the best for his meditation? He has to come and talk to us. He cannot. If it's something like the back pain, some clear physical obstructions, then don't force it. That's the common sense approach. Is don't force it, and it should be. You should talk to us because it's not normal. What we teach you is for normal people. There are some cases where there are some special circumstances like that. We need to have different approaches. Okay? All right, anything else? Nothing? All right. And we go back to the sutra, shall we? Instead of gossiping. 128, sutra text. The master gave him the gold and said, "Go. I fear that my followers will come to take revenge. Change your appearance and return another day, and I will accept you."
师遂语经，言如且去，恐途众翻害于汝，如可他日一行而来，吾当摄受。
All right, 129, commentary. So the master gave him the gold. Notice that. I know you cheapskates would say, now that you want to be a monk with the same, I don't have to pay you back, right? That's what Guo Yin would do. He says, what's goal between people of the same family? The master gave him the gold anyway. Do you get it? When you know you owe someone something and there's a chance for you to pay him back, pay him back. That's the lesson. Don't let the interest continue to accrue. Next time it's no longer gold. It might be Fort Knox. Is that clear? Okay? And he said, furthermore, he says, go, scam, scram. Okay? I fear that my followers will come to take revenge. Okay? I'm afraid that there's some people in my temple who are not enlightened yet, who are very protective of me. And they will have adverse reaction to your trying to harm me, okay? Even though you failed, they will want to harm you as an admonition, as a warning to future attempts to harm me. So they will take revenge on you to signal to your bosses and to your patrons and to your colleagues, okay? There's a price you pay, okay? Because these people don't understand, okay? And as their master, it is my responsibility to protect you and to help avoid their creating offenses like this, even though they feel very justified. That's not Buddhist. Even though the demon's in front of you, you can't harm the demon. But these Buddhist disciples who are out, who cannot control themselves, they will definitely try to harm you. I know quite a few of them. They have no wisdom because they're not quite there yet. Even though they're my disciples, they're too stupid for me to be able, for them to listen to my advices, to my teaching. They would not hesitate to harm you, to inflict harm upon you. That's not Buddhist. Trust me. I don't teach my disciples like that. If any of you present, if any of you intentionally harm anyone, you know what's going to happen to you? I will not teach you. No more. Eventually you leave and your kung fu will disappear. Your kung fu I give you is for you to do good, not to harm others. Anyway, any of you intentionally harm anyone in any way, whether it is slander, whether it's with a knife, we done. You don't deserve to be Wei Yang disciples. We have our standards. Get out. What we teach you, we train you, is for you to do good. Even though they try to harm you, you don't harm them. That's Wei Yang. Our Wei Yang. We don't harm people. We don't kill demons. We don't harm evil people. No matter who they are, we don't harm them. We embrace them. That's required of you. And you, when you accept your own disciples, I expect you to enforce it. We do not train people to go and harm others, even how well justified it is. And see, this is the difference. This, I feel very strongly about this. Okay? Don't think that Master Huineng did not teach his disciples this. He did, I assure you. But there are still people, his disciples, said, yes, Master, I believe you. Yes, I will follow your instructions. But the moment these people heard of Xíng Chāng's attempt to kill their masters, they would not hesitate to harm him. In a moment of rage, in a moment of stupidity, in blind rage, they would do that. And that's what Master Huineng is referring to those people. Yes, normally, yes, they listen to reason. But when they see this sheer evil, there are the hands of evil people coming over to harm their masters, they get very upset. They would kill this guy. Let alone those of you who are bipolar. You have even less self-control. Okay? The only thing we can do is just remember, if you harm others, sayonara, get out of here. We don't tolerate such behavior. You banned. You help them, you banned. Change your appearance so that they cannot recognize you. And come back because you need me to train you. You made a mistake. You tried to harm me. There's a price for that. Because you tried to harm me, you cannot be near me. You have to pay penance, go out there, suffer, struggle to survive. If you're here in the temple, you'll be safe, you'll make progress, you'll become enlightened, but it's not meant to be because your stupid karmas, harming karma. For that, you have to go out there and suffer and struggle and others will harm you. He didn't say that, by the way. I'm adding more drama to our movies. Okay? And you come back after you endure all this, because you have to suffer for trying to harm me. Okay? You have to suffer. You should be lucky that you can come back this lifetime. I'm helping you already. Supposedly, you should. But I'm helping you. This is from the Master Hui Neng. Shh, I'm helping you. I will let you suffer for a while only, and I bring you back. It's my compassion. Unfortunately, the Chinese didn't explain it to the Chinese, so we have to explain it to you, non-Chinese people. You know how serious it is? Even though that Xíng Chāng, Master Hui Neng owed Xíng Chāng his life. For Xíng Chāng to come and kill Master Hui Neng, he would go to the hells regardless. Do you know that? So for him to come back, let me tell you, it's because Master Hui Neng helped him resolve the retribution. It's a very serious thing. Devadatta, just to try to kill the Buddha, and he failed. He only succeeded after several trials of making the Buddha's toe bleed. And what did happen? What happened to him? Trust me, you don't want to try to harm Master Hui Neng. I'd rather die first. It's less painful. Okay? The Chinese, they said, oh, this is so wonderful. No, this is very precise why this is happening. Why Master Hui Neng had to tell him, give him instructions and do this, because there's a lesson behind this. I'm a patriarch, I'm a sixth patriarch, but I owe you gold. I owe you, I give you gold. I don't negotiate, I don't bargain for something cheaper. Can I, since now you're becoming Buddhist anyway, can I get 20% discount? He doesn't do that. Because he has wisdom. Understand that? There's a lesson right there. He doesn't, yeah? I owe you gold, here's the gold. On top of it, I will help you to teach my Buddhist disciples, to those who come and try to harm you, you still help them. Don't retaliate. And those who have an awakening, like Xíng Chāng, then you help them big time. That's how he could come back. You know how difficult it is to be able to learn from Master Hui Neng? I can't even receive training from my own teacher. Think about it, how pitiful it is. His disciples hung around him 50 years, right? Tomorrow night, we're going to listen to that guy for 50 years, whatever it is, okay? You see? Chinese Wei Ya. Tomorrow, you see Chinese Wei Ya, okay? We are not Chinese Wei Ya, okay? You know how difficult it is to be able to learn from these great teachers? 50 years of protection, of food, of clothing, of medicine, of cars, of insurance. You know how expensive that is? They got it. All right, 1:30, few more minutes. Sutra text, Xíng Chāng received his orders and disappeared into the night. Later, he left home with another bhikshu, he received the complete precepts, and was vigorous in practice.
行昌秉旨消顿，后投身出家，具戒精进。
The translation, it's a little bit Bing here. To me, it seemed like Bing. If my memory serves me well, Bing here has a lot of profound respect. It's more like a royal edict, a royal decree. Yes, Chinese people, or not? Bing is like you obey the orders from the emperor, that kind of thing. You don't question it. You receive respectfully. You don't question it. Okay, and more than that, when you add "chu" here, also the Chinese has a connotation in the Chinese language. "Chu" is a gift, so it implies gratitude. No one would bother teaching you, giving you an instruction, unless you deserve it. So the combination "bing chu" here, okay, is not translated as receive his orders. This is why we Westerners read this and they say, oh, they receive his orders. No, he's so grateful, he's so respectful. When Master Huineng opened his mouth and said, you should change your appearance and disappear quickly and come back. That Xíng Chāng was so respectful, so grateful that the master would teach him, would give him instructions after he tried to kill him. Can you see that? That's very Chinese. We Americans don't have that. That's why. You have to go to another college to learn Buddhism. You don't need to be grateful. You understand? You can pay for it. These instructions, you cannot pay for them. And later, okay, on the commentary, okay, so he disappeared into the night, vanished into the night, no trace. Yeah. Later, he left the home life under another bhikshu, okay, meaning that, again, I stress, he doesn't have the protection and the guidance of Master Huineng. He did not deserve it, so he had to go for another Chinese monk. Okay? Plenty of those. You go there and you say, Master, I want to become a monk. Say, oh, come. It's a very good thing. You eventually, when I die, I leave you my temple. That kind of thing. Yeah. Since you have Kung Fu already, you can teach Kung Fu and hold Kung Fu classes. We call it Neo Shaolin. Please come. Now we have a new offering in our program. So he, with his skills, he can easily go to any other Chinese monk, and he would become a bhikshu. They love those people with skills. Okay? Any kind of skills, you're welcome. You are appreciated. Okay? And easily receive, I would add, easily receive the complete precepts, the full precepts. I think we should change the full precepts. Complete is, we should have a unity in the wording, the jargon we use. We should use full precepts, not complete precepts. Okay? In our small world, in our church. Full precepts, we change it, thank you. And was vigorous in practice. Why? He had really no teacher, no good Dharma to practice. He probably as he meditated, he was doing Kim Kê Độc Lập, golden chicken standing on one foot. And that's how he meditated. You guys don't do Chinese martial arts? Can I demonstrate to you? It's cool. Hey, you. You also do yoga. Do the chicken in one leg. See? She'll do it too. God. Go, do it. It's like... I do it, I fall. It doesn't look good. You have to stand on one leg and so forth. Anyway, I used to do that to impress people. So because of without any real instructions, he has his kung fu already. His martial arts pretty high. So he would look at his monk master and said, "I'm better than you." But regardless, he was very rigorous in his practice. Because that's who he is. Martial artists are very vigorous. They practice vigorously. That's what they do, yes? On top of it, he's vigorous because you're not a teacher. That's why you don't understand these subtleties. He's vigorous because he's hoping one day he can come back and see Master Huineng and say, "Yes, Master, I've been vigorously practicing, waiting for today. Because I have you in mind. In spite of my obstructions, in spite of my difficulties, in spite of my lack of necessities, I still look forward to seeing you and learning from you." That's very Chinese. It's the Chinese DNA that we Westerners don't have. Hey, wait a minute, I'm not a Westerner. What you Westerners don't have. I don't have the Chinese DNA either, by the way. So far, so good. You see how beautiful it is? One single thing, instruction of the great teacher. He says, people are going to try to kill you. Get the hell out of here and come back. And with that promise alone, someday, meaning someday you'll come back. Okay, with that promise alone, this guy is practicing like hell, waiting for that day. And because of that, he deserves to come back. Because Master Huineng helped him, but he has to also help himself. Moral story, you're receiving help. What are you doing
on your side. Okay. Don't expect Daddy to do everything for you. 132 is next weekend. We pick up from 132. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. No transference, right? We go back, right back into meditation and become enlightened. All right.